So I'm on a new link that I just sent you.
Okay, so I'm with you now. Yeah. Let's carry forward. It's late here. All right, I'm gonna hang up on the phone, Rob. I can hear you on the computer. Rob, I just hung up on her. She was trying to call me from another link.
Yeah, same thing.
Oh.
Let me call her and see if I can.
Yeah.
This is the experimental pilot.
Yeah, it happens.
Hey, for the record, I think this is totally awesome, and you are just
well played.
Well played.
Hey, we're on this. Did you see the link that would have another link that would have come to you instead of trying to connect directly to us? If you just click on that link, then that'll go to the one that Steve and I are on, and that's. Wherever you found the first link in your email, it would be an invitation. There you go. You broadcast your video.
Okay. Now I have
All
Rob
right.
and Steve. And Dan, do you want to get on?
Looking good, guys.
All right.
Okay.
Dad's been taking notes here, so he's all ready.
Well, if I left anything out, Mom will take care of it.
Well, good. And we're recording, Rob, right? So we shouldn't like take notes or use any other.
Yeah. So this is now recording, and like I said before, it's a little experimental. We'll figure out how this works, but the idea is to get an archive of these things. And the way this Hangouts works is whoever's speaking obviously gets on the main screen. So maybe what we'll do is just have you talk for 15 minutes or so, and then we can kind of ask questions. We can also jump in, but we probably don't want to bounce around too much. And the idea was, like I said in the email, just to maybe have a topic. And since Valentine's Day is coming up soon, and it'd be good to have both of your perspectives. We can, of course, go to like earlier in life when it may just be mom or just dad, but it'd be great to start with your courtship and dating and those years where you can kind of both share some stories and thoughts. And then this is hopefully a good way to capture the whole family and especially your memories and stories. So anyway, that's the idea.
Okay. All right. Well,
I can take notes, Dad. Very prepared.
Well, back in the old days, before I was having trouble with my speech, this may be a little bit rough around the edges because my defects in speech are now becoming very obvious.
That's okay.
Sometimes.
I don't buy it, Dad. I don't buy it.
They're very obvious.
And for the record, I think when necessary, we should get Rob to stand by his map and point out where
all this took place.
Happening, right?
Julianne says no thanks.
Okay,
No, I'm saying
Vanna White here.
This guy, always the jokester.
okay, well then I will try not to be Vanna White.
Never to be around for many generations. Maybe we should just point out this is planet Earth that we're on.
Okay. So here we go. You ready? I was born in 1943, and through the years of my youth, I had many wonderful experiences and things that happened to me that were wonderfully refreshing and very significant. Athletics was my life up until I went to college. Then in 1962, I left for my mission to England, British mission, and it's significant that my mission president, Elder Hanks, had a tremendous influence on me, and so I came back from my mission raring to go. And
Marion Hanks, right?
Yes, I went to a fraternity party at Echo Reservoir for some water skiing in August after I'd been back. And she tried to get up on water skis, but never could manage it. But she impressed me so much that in October, I asked her out for a date. And my fraternity brother said, "Wendell, you ought to date Wenetta. She's a dry Mormon. She follows the principles of the gospel, not even being a member." And I said, "Well, that's great." But Mom and I had many discussions about the Godhead, about the gospel. We did a number of them under, I don't know, we did more than one, but under a tree near Doug
Bagley's home,
Doug Bagley's home,
where he eventually lived. He didn't live there then.
And so, little by little, she came to understand how important the gospel was to me, and we both agreed that we shouldn't get married. We couldn't resolve the fraternity issue first. That would have been a terrible mistake.
Look, how about going back to our first date?
Mom's gonna tell the real story, Dad.
Our first date was a fraternity party at the Sigma Chi house, and we were sitting on the floor. I guess there was just standing room only, and we eventually just sat down on the floor. And before I knew it, I turned over. We were talking to a group of people. This guy was asleep, and I thought, I'm really impressing him. So
little did you know.
Yeah, right. Little did I know that it was a trait that went along with the territory for 50 years, that he can easily fall asleep. And the truth was that he'd gone hunting with his dad, and he'd gotten up really early and he was super tired. But I did realize later that it was a trait that he was accustomed to. But so our dates were far and few between, kind of at the first.
Yeah.
And then we started dating more. And I was thinking maybe I really liked this guy. And then we started talking about the church, and he was right. The first time we ever talked about the church was we'd gone for a walk in my neighborhood, and we'd ended up under a great big huge tree of one of my friends from Olympus High School. And he asked me about my belief in God the Father and Jesus Christ and the Holy Ghost. And when I heard about the Godhead, I immediately felt that that was right, and that that's how I had believed, even though my Presbyterian church had not. So from there sprang my testimony, and we dated for 3.5 years before we decided, before we got married. So after about 2.5 years, we decided we were in love, and that we would make a go of it, and we did.
How far into the 2.5 years did you get baptized?
About 9 months before our marriage.
Yeah, so about 2.5 years.
Well, in those days, it was possible to get married first and then civilly and then be married in the temple. And you had to get permission to do it. So Elder Hanks took a letter personally in President McKay's office, and he gave permission for us to do a double ceremony.
Like meaning the next day.
The next
Civil
day,
ceremony one day, temple ceremony the next.
Yes.
and her mom's parents were very upset with the whole thing, and they were especially upset, I think, that we took off from our honeymoon, before our honeymoon, the morning after our Patriot. Let's see. We got pinned with my fraternity pin in April of 1963.
You got to tell what the import of that is, Dad.
Explain that.
I'm not sure what. She was the sweetheart of Sigma Chi. Shortly after that.
So Dad, does pinning that's a pin of the fraternity?
Yeah,
and
This
everyone has
fraternity
one,
pin.
and you give your pin to somebody who you're dating steadily or intend to marry, or how? Tell us a little bit about how that works and why that was important.
Basically, you make it by going to the name pin in a fraternity system. The fraternity brothers all go up to the Tridelt house, and we sing some songs, and they sing some songs, and then they pass the candle around, and the one who's getting pinned blows out the candle, and
Then they serenade the
she
sorority
serenaded.
girls.
And Dad, after you gave your pin away, did the flags fly at half mast at the sororities?
I think everybody knew. Yeah. Everybody knew what was happening. But,
So I have a quick question. Do you still have the pin?
Do I still have the pin?
Yeah.
Yes, we do still have the pin.
I have it I think I have it in my treasure box.
In the treasure box that he shows the grandchildren when they come.
Really? That's
In that I have all my awards, my medals, so I can talk to the kids about achieving and things like that. But I'm not sure if I still have mine. I hope I do.
I'd like to go back and tell you about when we got engaged. My grandfather Smith, who was a farmer in Peyton, Iowa, died very unexpectedly of a heart attack in November of 1966.
How old were you then? Right?
I was in college. And he died, and it was the weekend of the Sigma Chi formal that I was going to. And so I stayed to go to the formal, and that was the night we got engaged, was the weekend my grandfather had died.
Oh.
Which was, happy and sad all at the same time. And so then I got on a train with my three brothers, and we went by train to Iowa to go to the funeral of my grandfather. So it was an interesting time, but I was very happy.
There are a few experiences that stand out in my mind that probably should be recorded. When I was dating Mother, she was also being dated very heavily by the ICAP president. And the ICAPs were really after me to get rid of your dating Wenetta. She's Wally's girl. And
Who's
anyway,
Wally?
Wally
Wally and Wendell.
Wally was a loser.
The answer is Wally was a loser.
Well, let me tell you what happened. It became obvious that I was winning the war, so to speak.
Well, Wally had a different take on things. Wally wanted to get married and then worry about the church. He was a return missionary too. but that didn't speak well to me. That was not a good plan in my judgment. So that's why one of the reasons that the hand tipped to Wendell.
Well, after Mom had been baptized, I saw him in the Union Building on the campus. And he, my recollection is he just came up and said hi and said, I just want you to know that I heard that Wenetta was baptized. And he said he was really sorry that he hadn't taken the proper approach and that I deserved you. And he didn't. That was the last time I ever saw him.
Well done, Dad. He probably didn't play the accordion too, right, Mom?
It was always good for a laugh. I played in many fraternity parties, and
Dad was a better kisser.
There you go.
Ew.
let's see.
So when I was a sweetheart of Sigma Chi, Wendell was in medical school. So I didn't see him much at the fraternity house. I was over there and took treats to them and do what sweethearts do. And he wasn't around very much. So it was kind of interesting. And then Dave went through Rush. Was that while I was sweetheart?
I don't remember.
And then he was blackballed from the fraternity. So it was not a good time. Grandpa Smoot, Dad's father, was very unhappy with Sigma Chi fraternity. And now Spencer, of course, is a Sigma Chi. So interesting history.
Will you remind me what being the sweetheart means? And
it's someone that's dating a Sigma Chi. And seriously dating a Sigma Chi. And I don't know what the process is. Are several nominated and then a vote's taken? I really don't know.
Yes. Yes. She was voted in as the sweetheart.
Do you have responsibilities as the sweetheart?
Yeah, to hang around and make them treats and kind of, I don't know.
What an honor.
Yeah, right. I did some of that, but it's just kind of something that I don't know much about.
Well, that's all I remember. So that's all I have that covered those years from my mission to getting married.
So the day we got married, it rained pitchforks.
Did it ever?
It rained and rained and rained. We thought no one's going to come to our wedding.
I've never heard that term before, Mom. That's serious rain.
Yeah, it was. It was really strong. And we were married at the Shalimar. It was a reception center in Salt Lake. And then we had a police escort after we were married that night. And he was our neighbor, and he came in uniform to the reception. He was my neighbor in the Olympus High School area of Salt Lake. And he handcuffed us together so that they couldn't take one of us and separate us. And then he took us to where we spent our first night together in Salt Lake. And then the next morning we got up bright and early and we went to the Salt Lake Temple. And we were sealed that day. What'd you say, Julianne?
nope, not going there.
Off
Sorry.
color.
She doesn't want it to be on the recording. I know what she said, and I didn't even see her say it.
You wanted to know how the first night was, right?
No. We don't need to go
It
there.
was good.
Should I stop the recording for a little bit so we can get?
We need a sidebar. Yeah.
Whatever you want to do.
I want to hear about the sealing. Who was there? And I know, Mom, that was difficult with your family not being members. Tell us a little bit about that experience.
Who sealed you?
Elder Hanks.
His mission president, Marion D. Hanks.
We were married by my state president. We had probably 150 people come to the wedding on a rainy night, so we were very happy.
But to the ceiling, it was mainly Wendell's family.
Yeah, my uncle, my mom and dad, my uncle Stan, and Grandma and Grandpa Smoot.
Not Grandpa.
Grandpa had died.
It was just your one grandmother.
Just Grandma Smoot.
Was Rebecca there?
Rebecca was not.
No, she wouldn't have been. She wasn't endowed by that time.
Okay.
Yeah. And then we went to Hawaii on our honeymoon, to Maui. And I remember Dad got so sunburned that he couldn't even put his camera over his shoulder. He was beet red. They didn't have tanning salons back then.
I was only out in the sun for 30 minutes. Just beet red.
And after we had spent one night there, he got so sick I had to go out on the streets and find medicine for him. So that was just interesting sidelines. But we had a real nice honeymoon for about 6 days, I think. Went back and I worked for the federal government then. And what'd you do that summer? You probably worked someplace.
That was the summer I went to England.
No, that was the summer before we got married.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Let's see. I was working for the Department of Pediatrics on some college and vascular diseases in children.
And what year is this again?
This is 1966. 65.
67. Yeah. June 12th, 1967.
Well, that was when we were married. I was telling him what I did that summer.
So 68.
Oh. Okay. In 66, he did do the experiment in international living. He took a group of college kids through England, having been there on this mission.
That was a very competitive race. The Calamar, the big reception center in Northern California. And they picked me out of about 30 or 40 applicants for the position. So I felt very honored, and it was a great experience for most of the kids.
Oh, and while he was over there, he was accepted to medical school as a, what was it called? Senior? He was accepted as a senior in college without having graduated.
Wow.
Early admission kind of thing?
Early admission. And so his parents and I called him one night to give him the good news. And that was exciting. So he cut out 1 year of college, which was nice.
Actually, what you said was, you called me on the phone. It was 6:30 in the morning. And you said, how would you like to go to the freshman dance at the University of Utah Medical School? And I knew what that meant. And so the rest of the trip, I was really happy.
So this was the first summer after you got married, is that right?
No.
It was the summer before we got married.
Before.
Okay, still the summer before, yeah.
So I was so excited when he came home, and the first night he got home, he actually fell asleep in the middle of sentences. He was so tired. So yes, falling asleep has been a good thing for him.
He could do it on the stand in the bishopric, and as a bishop, he can do it on the couch.
In the bishopric, yeah.
Anytime.
Yeah. I was just telling, I don't know if it was our friends when we were in South Carolina this week, I was telling them how I had Paul, Rob, and Dan in the audience at church, and Dad was sitting up on the stage sleeping, and I was primary president, and I got to crying because the boys were so naughty that day. And all I could see was him sleeping up there, and I thought, there's something wrong with this picture. And I cried all day. People come up to me, are you all right? And I'd start bawling again. But he picked up the pieces after church. He was always helpful. Young Dad.
You were just waiting for your fourth, Mom. That's what the tears of.
That's right. That's right. So we probably.
Good stories.
Yeah.
Well, we tried to think of all the ones that were pertinent.
Where did you live, and where was your first house or apartment that you lived together?
We lived in the basement of Bob Garf's house. He's only a year older than I am, and so he was living there with his wife.
Kathy.
Kathy was not.
Kathy Bagley.
Did not have a baby.
Doug Bagley.
And then when she got pregnant, they knew they'd have to leave, so we only stayed there for 1 year.
And that's down around the corner from Grandma and Grandpa's house, right?
It's fairly close. It's actually right across the street from Highland High School.
Do you remember the address?
No.
It was on Laird Avenue.
Oh,
In Salt Lake City. Laird Avenue.
2044 Laird Avenue.
I know that's where Spencer's parents live.
It is.
Really? Yeah. And it was a real nice place to hang out. Of course, we were friends with them. And when we got home from our honeymoon, I don't know who got in there. They left someone in there, and they strung all my bras up. Put the bras across the living room, and did all kinds of things to us, so that we had to clean things up before we could get down to living there. The lady who owned the home was really nice, and we would help take care of the place. Well, that was our second place. That wasn't in the Garfs.
That's after the Garfs.
So the other place was up above Hogle Zoo on.
That's the one I remember.
Layton Avenue, was it? Layton Avenue?
Anyway, it was $30 a month.
$30 a month.
It was a really nice place. Lots of room.
And it was a widow, and we took care of Wendell, shoveled snow in the winter, and took the trash out, and just a few things. It was a wonderful place to stay. But then after we had Paul, I don't think wanted a child there. We moved on.
So that was your second home.
Mm-hmm.
And our third one was on, I can't remember, but it was $95 a month.
I love that you remember how much it cost, but not where it was. That's amazing.
I think it was Hollywood Avenue. They were all very, very close to one another.
That was where Bob and Kathy lived.
Hollywood?
Hollywood Avenue.
No. So the third one, I think we stayed there 2 years until he finished school, and we moved to San Diego when he was an intern at the University of San Diego, University of California, San Diego.
Yeah.
Huh.
We stayed there 2 years, and then we came back to Utah for 3 more years. And
At that point, did you guys know you loved San Diego,
yes. Yes.
Was it a goal to try to get back there, or did it just kind of happen?
Both. We thought it'd be really nice, but we thought there'd be no way in the world to come to San Diego and live because it was so expensive. But we fasted and prayed about it, and we were given an offer to go over to. Well, actually, I went in the Air Force first, right after I finished general surgery. And I went in the Air Force for 2 years, and then 3 years in general surgery, and I got my boards. And then 2 years in the service. and 2 years in Houston for plastic surgery, and San Diego.
When were you in Nebraska?
That was our Air Force years, Offutt Air Force Base, Nebraska.
Talk about the Air Force years.
Okay, it was.
Tell them about the senior student program you almost went into.
Oh yeah, we were all of us were trying to figure out what we were going to do because we were not going to go in the draft.
What year is this?
1975. And the Air Force said, we want so many people to sign up, and if you do, we'll pay for your last year of medical school and your internship year. And you owe us 2 years, called the senior student program. And I worked on a number of the guys who wanted to do it, and then I ended up not doing it. There were some bad feelings over there.
Actually, they had 3 years in the military to pay back. And he only had 2 years with the program that he went into, which was the Berry Plan. And the Berry Plan guaranteed him that he would be able to practice his specialty. The other guys didn't have that guarantee, so it was wonderful.
Yeah, they were general medical officers assigned to a unit in Vietnam.
Wow. So you went in. You went into the Air Force in 75 and came out in 77?
Huh?
And then moved to Houston, Texas.
And
where did you live when you were in the Air Force? Which bases?
We were on the base. We didn't get in for 6 weeks, so we went in bachelor's quarters on the base. It was a one-room apartment with 2 kids and a third that had just been born in April, so 3 months old. Dan.
Yeah.
And
my father had just died right before we left.
In fact, we had to extend our stay in Salt Lake to take care of the funeral arrangements.
Yeah, my dad died the 1st of August, 1975, and so we stayed there for a little while, and then, like you said, we were 6 weeks in temporary quarters, and then Mother came out and visited us in that fall.
But I'm sorry, that was in Nebraska?
That was in Nebraska, Omaha.
You never got deployed or anything during your time?
No, because the Vietnam War ended in 75. So I wasn't the first response type position. I was with a big regional hospital. It was just like a regular hospital.
He was assigned though to Minot, North Dakota, for one summer for 2 or 3 months, wasn't it?
3 months.
3 months. So he had to have that temporary duty. And then Paul and Rob and Dan and I drove and spent maybe 3 or 4 days before he came home.
Yeah, short time. Our years in the Air Force were fun. We loved living on base because we met other officers and some really accomplished people.
Lived in military housing, all young children and moms for the most part. Sat out on the grass every afternoon and watched our children play and had some iced tea or something, lemonade in my case.
Our neighbor across the street was a great grandson of David Whitmer. And so we took a movie about the 3 witnesses over to their house and explained to them more about the church. And
guess where they live now? Herndon, Virginia.
Really?
Oh, really?
We still are in contact with them.
Every year.
And what's their name?
David Webb.
David Whitmer Webb.
I've heard that name before.
Me too.
You have?
You've mentioned them.
Yeah.
Oh, it's also Jason Bourne's real name, but
it is. Oh, we didn't know that.
That's true.
Maybe there's a connection.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So
Well,
those were fun years, huh? You enjoyed it. You were you sad to leave when you went to Houston?
No, not really. I think 2 years is just the right amount of time. But when we got to Houston, it was 108 degrees, and we had all of our boxes in the garage. And it was, oh, in the summer it was so hot and muggy, and in the winter it was cold as could be with muggy rainstorms all the time. And we had a hurricane. Our house was in escrow in San Diego, and the hurricane really got a lot of flooding. Our street was completely underwater, but our house for some reason was built higher than any house on the street, and no water got in.
but it went to about 2 inches from the door jamb to
So,
flood it.
and where in Houston was this?
Southwest Houston,
Fondren Road,
Boundary
Boundary was our street.
Street.
In
Um,
Sugarland, right?
Yeah, down Highway 59.
Yeah.
And this was while we were living there, because I do remember floods, us waiting out.
Yeah.
in the street.
Yeah, you guys were out in the street
Yeah.
having a great time, and I was worried there were snakes in the water on the street because there were a lot of snakes in the bayou that was right behind our house.
I remember when Paul flung a huge boa constrictor over the fence and
He
scared
did.
you to death,
Yeah.
and then put it in a neighbor's trash can.
That's right.
Wow.
Well, we
These
got to
are
get
great
Steve and
memories.
Julianne to bed.
Yeah, it's late back there.
It's a good start. This was great idea, Rob, and let's keep this up.
I think we knew to do this on a regular basis until we got everything covered.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we should go deeper on subjects. I feel like we probably glossed over a lot of stuff that could have gotten good details for the next run around.
Good idea. We'll work on that.
No, you get
All right.
hard to remember.
Why don't we? Is this work to do it on Sunday evenings? Maybe.
Yeah.
We'll do it earlier so Steve and
little
Julianne
earlier.
don't have to stay up so late.
Yeah.
We're fine. 11 o'clock's
fine.
11 o'clock's perfect if you guys can handle 8
Oh, sure.
West Pacific time.
Okay.
Well, if we do this on a regular basis, it won't be long before we'll have everything covered. And then, for example, I did probably my first 20 years, and I've lost it. I have no idea where it is. And this would be one way to recoup that. My handwriting has deteriorated so badly I can hardly sign my name. So this would help a lot to get an accurate life history of everybody in the family.
Very cool idea, Rob. Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you, Rob.
I enjoyed it a lot, so I'm glad we could do it.
Well, we'll have Dan and Candace on the next one.
Absolutely.
Paul and Leslie.
Paul
too.
Leslie.
Yeah. Would be nice
Well, we
to
love
see.
you guys.
We love you
Love
too.
you. It's
Can't
always
wait to-
nice to see you. What?
Good night.
Love you all.
Love you.
Okay, now be sure you have your eyes open when you walk through the bed.
Thanks, Rob.
Thank you, Rob.
Good night. Love you.
Good night. Love you too.